It's Elizabeth from Elpis Astrology at elpisastrology.com. Thanks for joining me today. Don't forget, if you do want to have your own personal chart done, I would be delighted to do it. And you can check out my link below to my website where you can find out what my services are. But certainly a transit chart, which is only $80 still, would be a great thing for a lot of folks right now with all these eclipses going on. Okay, so this is going to be my astrological report as I see it for June 2021. And we start off on the 1st of June with the Sun conjunct the north nodes of the Moon in Gemini. And this is at 10 degrees. So as always, check your own chart, your personal chart, and see if you've got something at 10 degrees. But certainly this is saying from a collective level that this is an important illumination with regards to what? To our collective destiny. So something may happen around the 1st of June to the collective where we are reminded or prompted that this is us choosing a destiny path for us to go on as part of humankind. But of course it will also translate into our personal destiny paths too. But it's more as how we're going forward as humankind and mankind, as opposed to specifically to individually, unless you've got a 10-degree Gemini significance at this point. Now on the 3rd of June we have Venus, lovely Venus, and Venus of course represents money, it represents love, but at its core Venus really is emanating with regards to our values, and especially our value of ourself, however we may translate that. So this now goes into Cancer, and it's going to be here most of the month. The last few days it'll go into Leo, but this is a really lovely place for Venus because it really speaks to nurturing, it speaks to compassion, it really speaks to our inner feelings, and also how those inner feelings translate to people around us, our home for instance, at a global level, our homeland. So this is the lovely nurturing energy is what it boils down to. For those that are into massages, of course this would be a great time to take a massage to pamper yourself, okay? On the 10th of June we have a new moon eclipse, and this eclipse is in Gemini. It's at 19 Gemini 47 minutes, and it's at 3:54 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. So it does form a few aspects in the universe. It conjuncts Mercury, which is also in Gemini at this time. Venus will square Chiron. Mars will still be opposing Pluto. And Saturn begins at square with Uranus. But Saturn also trines the north nodes of the Moon. So this is a significant new moon eclipse. So at new moons, we're saying we want to start something anew. And in Gemini, we're really referring to gaining facts, talking, socializing, that type of thing. And so this is really saying, when it's conjunct Mercury, its own ruler, there's going to be a lot of talking, a lot of socializing, and a lot of collecting information. That's the other thing associated with this. When we've got the Venus square Chiron, it really just says that we're still in the process of healing and to be open to nurturing yourself during this time period. Mars opposite Pluto really says there's a lot of energy being put into sort of juggling and jousting for power. That's kind of what this boils down to. And it kind of ties into this whole Saturn square Uranus as well, where it's the old versus the new. But this Mars aspect, even though it could be fairly harsh opposite Pluto, really speaks to debating and putting action into, well, let's look at what's going on here. And then with the square beginning between Saturn and Uranus, it's saying we really have to make some changes here. The old guard, the old way of doing things has to transform, that Pluto part of it, with the opposition to Mars, into something new. So that's the kind of general idea around this new moon eclipse. Check your own chart to see where the new moon, of course, has the sun and the moon in the same place, so it would be 19 degrees of Gemini. I always look at the opposite sign as well with regards to direct effects. And of course that would be Sagittarians that have your degree point, possibly your sun or your ascendant, around 19-20 degrees of Gemini, 19-20 degrees of Sagittarius for the opposite sign. On the 15th of June, we actually have the official Saturn square Uranus, and it'll be at 13 degrees. For Saturn, it'll be 13 degrees of Aquarius, and for Uranus, it'll be 13 degrees of Taurus. So this is the exact square. Now we have 3 of these throughout the year. So really what this is talking about here is asking, for those that have this at around 13 degrees, it's really saying you may have to look more specifically at your changes that you need to make. What things do you need that are old and worn out, that need to be transformed and literally changed into something that's more future oriented? On the 20th of June, we have summer solstice. And summer solstice, of course, is at, the sun is at 0 degrees of Cancer. Now you can see this is at 20th of June, and you may say, well, I thought, different years it's at the 21st or 22nd of June. And this is where we say that when we have the sun ingressing into Cancer, it can be at different dates. So it's always important to look, especially if you've got things on the cusp of a sign, to see where the sun is at that time. So you get the exact reading of where the sun is for determining whether you're a certain sign or not. So for this year, the 20th of June marks the beginning of Cancer. So the summer solstice is at 8:33 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, and it does trine Jupiter, which is still in Pisces, but it's retrograde. So it's very significant on this day of the summer solstice that Jupiter goes retrograde, but it's almost 12 hours earlier that it goes retrograde at 2 degrees of Pisces. And it is at 7:30 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. So this Jupiter in Pisces at 2 degrees forms now significance for the solstice period. And we have the moon at 9 degrees of Scorpio. It is opposite Uranus at 13 degrees. It's not exact, but it's within orb. And we also have a beautiful Venus trine Neptune. We also have Mars, which is in Leo. This equals fun. And we have lovely Saturn wanting to put structure down, sextiling the north nodes of the moon, which are still in Gemini. I think the summer solstice is marking a very interesting time with regards to us kind of breaking free, having fun, and maybe more easily understanding what structure you have to put in place for you to get on your destiny path that starts around this time, the solstice. With the moon in Scorpio, it does speak to intense feelings. And opposite Uranus, it says intense feelings may be ignited. I've spoken before about this maybe being the summer of love for many reasons, but this kind of echoes that type of sentiment, especially when we talk about Venus trining Neptune. These are high-level energies with regards to love, right? And so I would say that there may be a number of people that start relationships during the solstice period. It's about a 3-month period here. And that you can expect to have some intense draws. So when you've got something like the moon opposite Uranus, this may be sudden infatuation. So this may truly be only a summer love, but it could last longer too, especially when we've got Saturn in that mix, sextiling, providing opportunities with regards to this. And our destiny path all tied in together. But Jupiter being in Pisces here really speaks to high level of love, high level of compassion, and again, magic and miracles potentially coming through at this time too. Be careful what you wish for, it may come true. On the 22nd of June, we have our Mercury retrograde, which was in Gemini, pretty intense Mercury retrograde, by the way, going direct. And it'll go direct at 16 degrees of Gemini, as I said, on the 22nd of June. And this is where it marks the literal end. We still have a little bit of shadow period to go through as well before it completely ends. But we can say goodbye, I suppose, in many respects, to the retrograde effects at this time. And those retrograde effects would have been directly with regards to any types of communications. Why? Because Mercury was in the sign that it rules, Gemini. So we have on the 24th of June a full moon that will be in Capricorn. It'll be at 3 degrees of Capricorn. 11:39 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time is when it will occur. It has a couple of aspects, and these are relatively nice aspects. We have the moon, so the full moon itself will be in Capricorn, and of course the sun will be in Cancer. The moon sextiles Jupiter, which is lovely. Doing that, it basically gives you lots of opportunities for beneficial effects, basically emotionally. That's what this speaks to. And when we draw in that sun, which is in Cancer, and of course the sun will trine Jupiter, it really speaks to some really beneficial, lucky opportunities that may come in for you at this time. So be open to things coming in to you, perhaps in a way that they just appear in front of you. Boop, they're right there, as opposed to you searching out for them. Now, this could also be money too, because we've got Venus opposite Pluto. Now, this can just induce an intense love attraction, but it can also induce something with regards to money. Now, it could mean money comes into focus for you and people in power ask for you to pay some of your money back. But it can also have, because we've got the beneficial effects of Jupiter here, it can have some lucky breaks with regards to money, love, and of course our values at this time. For those that have early birthdays in Capricorn, you will have more of the effects of this full moon, and it may mean that some aspects of your life could be love, money, and values sort of come to some culmination at this time. When we look at the night sky, I forgot to mention in my last video that we now have Venus as an evening star. And Venus as an evening star will pretty well last the rest of 2021. So for those folks that want to get out around sunset time or just after sunset, look to the west and you will see a very shining star. That shining star is the planet Venus. When we look at next month, for July 2021, we have an interesting Venus conjunct Mars. So that certainly brings relationships into focus. And it'll be in Leo, so there may be some drama happening with regards to some of our celebrities too. And that'll be mid-month. We have a new moon in Cancer, and we have a full moon in Aquarius. So that wraps up this video. I am going to be doing an extended video where I'll include all the sun signs and ascendants. And I will be focusing on the May eclipse, total eclipse it's a full moon that we had in Sagittarius. But I'm going to be joining it up with my interpretation for the new moon in Sagittarius, which will happen the 3rd or 4th of December 2021. Because these two are so intimately tied, they are total eclipses, and so I thought it would be worthwhile not just covering the full moon, which is happening at the end of May, but it's important to cover the new moon, which is new beginnings, at the beginning of December 2021. So stay tuned for that, and as always, I'm sending everybody lots of love, and certainly you will see me again for my July report astrologically. But do take care of yourself. I'm always thinking of everyone in a positive way. If you would like me to do your chart, I'd be delighted to do it. I do leave different links down below to videos as well as links to my site, just to make it easier for you to access me. Please take care of yourself. Lots of love, and bye for now.